Hello, everybody. This is Matt Seefeld, Executive Vice President here at MedEvolve, an effective intelligence company. Today, we're going to talk about the labor force, the new generation of workers. I read an article the other day that introduced a theme to me called quiet quitting. And what that means is people are employed by you, but they're not really doing any work and not meaningful work, but you're actually paying them. So we have really a problem that's already here that's only going to get worse as generations have changed the way they look at work-life balance. There's nothing wrong with work-life balance. I've incorporated a lot more balance in my life over the last couple of years coming out of COVID than I ever have in my career. I don't take as many airplane trips as I used to. I'm not staying in as many hotels. I'm not eating room service. I'm exercising more. I'm able to coach youth sports. I'm able to be a better husband, better father, better friend, all of those things. But I'm also very effective at the work I do. But I'm also smart. I'm smart about how I work, how I set up my workday. And so I want you guys to think about this, is that when you look at your revenue cycle and you look at the people that are doing everything from pre-service all the way to the zero balance, right? Claim adjudication, zero balance. You may not get 8 hours of productive work. You're probably not even getting 2 hours of productive work. But if you can grab 2 hours of effective work, think about that, okay? I can just keep touching buttons and not get the outcome. Right? So I'm productive. I'm perceived to be productive, but not effective. As you all have heard me talk about the difference between productivity and effectiveness, you know that I'm a champion of effectiveness, and I really don't care about productivity. So this new generation, right? Quiet quitting, sitting in their cubicles. Now they're all working from home, right? We're all in our team meetings. We're doing our tasks. So one, you've got to be able to measure these individuals. There's not a practice management system, EMR, on the market that's ever going to take the revenue cycle staff seriously when it comes to measuring their work effort and the financial outcome you're getting as a result of that work effort. Just never going to happen. Don't listen to salespeople. It won't happen. Here at MedEvolve, we had to build our own cloud-based ecosystem to sit on top of our own PM that was never going to get there. All right, and so now I can measure these things in real time. But the reason I bring up the data is that by capturing the right structured data for every unit of work being done by every revenue cycle personnel that you're paying to do a job, by measuring that work unit, you now can start to look at effort and outcome. And when you get positive outcomes, you now can create a reward system, which again, this new generation wants. So if you start to dangle reward systems, which includes recognition among peers that I'm doing a very good job, I'm very effective at my job, watch what happens to your revenue cycle performance. It's going to explode in a positive way. You're going to have a lot less need for people, and you're going to have a much leaner revenue cycle. You're also going to have a much higher zero touch rate. Not clean claim pass rate. I hate that topic. I think it's a terrible measure. I like to look at zero touch rates. I like to look at claims to get paid appropriately with no human touch. Period. That's it. No, again, there's not a PM on the market can tell you that. I can tell you that when I look at all of our clients, because I measure this, 60% is the best I've seen. That means 40% of the time we're having to get humans involved. And then when you start to look at where humans are getting involved in the rev cycle, you realize, man, if these were incentivized people to just do the job right the first time, well, one, I wouldn't need all these people. And two, I would have a much higher zero touch rate, which guess what? Means a much higher net collection rate and much higher profit margin. So this all goes hand in hand. Is that effective intelligence is about capturing the right structured data that tells the story of labor effectiveness, which holds them accountable while they work from anywhere, even if they're only putting 2 hours in of the 8.5 hours you're paying them. To be able to measure that, but then measure the outcome and tie it to a reward system that creates the recognition that this new generation needs to have. Where the revenue cycle is going, hey, frankly, that's where the economy in general is going, in my opinion. The revenue cycle likes to lag 2 decades behind the rest of the business world, but in this scenario right now, you cannot wait. You got to get the right systems in place that measure structured data that tells the story of effectiveness of your labor force. And you need to be able to tie that structured data and the financial outcomes and work effort to a reward system that recognizes those employees. And if you do that, just call me 90 days after you've started that, and let's talk about how many people you're now trying to find, because you won't be. In fact, you're overstaffed. That's 9 times out of 10, 9.8 times out of 10, I tell clients, prospects, you're overstaffed. Why do you keep looking for people you don't need? And they always say, oh, what do you mean? I'm so understaffed. I've got all this overtime. No, you have an effectiveness problem. You have a PM system in place that can't measure that. And you don't have a reward system in place to recognize the positive behaviors and the outcomes you're getting. That's the problem. And a pizza party is not going to solve it. A potluck's not going to solve it. Those are all nice things, but it won't solve it. This new generation of workers want to know that if they're going to work hard and get an outcome, that they're rewarded and recognized. That's the bottom line.